All right, today I want to talk about why I'm leaving Canada and sort of living my second arc, I would say, at the age of 30. It's funny, huh? When I was saying I was 29, and I was kind of like, oh, you're still young, still pretty young. But when you get to that 30 number, a lot of things seems to shift. Not from others' perspective to say, but from yours. You know, you kind of, the clock seems to be ticking faster. And you're wondering if, you know, when you want to choose a path, you're really second guessing yourself if it's the right one or if it's not, because you have this illusion that time is running out. And just to give a quick recap, right now I'm in New Brunswick, Canada. This is where my parents live. This is where I grew up. I left home pretty much around the age of 19 when I was at university. I did the first 2 years back home. Then I traveled about 4 hours away from my home. First time I wasn't living with my parents and all of that. Graduated from kinesiology. Did the whole working in gyms shebang. Then things got old pretty quick. Not that I didn't enjoy it as much, but I wasn't really feeling fulfilled. Maybe because my clientele wasn't really my main target. I was kind of like going through the motions because the salary wasn't as exciting, and yeah, it was stressful. It wasn't that sustainable, and that's why I think there's a high turnover on franchise gyms and things like that. So, I've done, I've tried so many things after. Substitute teaching in schools, in like phys ed classes. What a clusterfuck that was. That wasn't as great. And I worked at FedEx, like putting boxes and like shipping stuff. That wasn't as fun. What did I do after? Oh yeah, I worked door-to-door sales. That was life-changing. That I did for about 7 months. And I would say after a month, nobody else that, I got hired with at the same time, because I think we were like, every week you would have somebody new coming into the team. And I got so good that after a point, I was kind of like training those newcomers. But, despite all that, only 1 to 2 of those guys kind of stayed, And I started in the middle of February. Sorry, it's cold. I can feel how my mouth is not moving as much, not as fluid. So my words might sound slur. I'm also French, so the accent is sometimes coming out. But yeah, I was starting in the middle of February. I remember my first shift being in like a snowstorm. It's cold as hell. I was shadowing my manager. And after only a few days, I was left on my own with an iPad and with leads, to go to certain homes that probably has been knocked hundreds and thousands of times. The sales job really taught me that when you're present, when you know it, right? When you feel good, you're having a good day, you have conviction in how you speak, how you carry yourself, and nothing shakes you. Uh-oh. Nothing shakes you, right? And it's just, that's having frame. You know, when you have frame, it doesn't matter what anyone says. This guy, no. It really doesn't matter. And not to go on a tangent, but I think that's why a lot of black pill guys, red pill guys, they have it totally wrong. Because they're trying to fix symptoms, right? And symptoms, just to give you an example, you got a good looking guy who's picking up women, seducing a woman. And what you're gonna look at are his height, his build, his jawline, and all of that. But the bigger cause behind that attraction was him just having presence, being in a good vibe, focusing on lifting her up, right? Giving her emotions, focusing on her, being present with her, not taking himself too seriously, being collaborative, not competitive, just being unstifled. And I think that's no amount of looks maxing is gonna solve that for you. Or no amount of watching constant red pill videos. And there's some good guys out there. A lot of them I learned from. But a lot of them just kind of stayed in reactive mode, right? Just focusing on the worst side of woman. And we can go on a big rabbit hole as to why. But keep in mind, some of these guys have never left America. And we can all agree that America is quite fucked up when it comes to dating and all of that. If you're American, please don't take this the harsh way. I'm Canadian. It's really not that fucking better. It's probably worse. But the thing is, there's always good women anywhere you go, right? Anywhere you go, there's a good woman out there. And we cannot deny that there are guys that just have a great dating life and they look average. They have a great girl by their side. She's not giving him shit, right? She doesn't have girls' night, going clubbing with the intention of cheating right from the bat. You think all women are like that? I mean, I think you're watching too much content around that. At some point, you got to graduate from it. You know, you understand the dark side of some woman, but I mean, your brain, if you're only focused on that, your brain's going to seek that in the real world. And that's why you can never meet a good woman, because your brain is scanning for the abusive, emotionally unavailable, devious woman. So you got to focus on what you want, not what you don't want or how women are X, Y, and Z. Just make a list of what's the kind of woman that you want in your life, and then look at yourself. Do you have the qualities to attract that type of woman? If it's not, then I don't know why the fuck are you watching these videos. You gotta work on yourself. And that mainly comes from having presence. I'm not saying don't go maximize your looks. In fact, I think you should. It's both, right? You gotta have the whole package, right? You wanna have authority over yourself. You wanna have the best appearance you can have. You wanna have an understanding of woman's nature so that you're able to pinpoint and scan for those women and then calmly eject when you meet them. You don't need to recite your red pill jargon to them or give them ultimatums. You just calmly eject, remove your attention, and move on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Focus on what you want. You're one woman away to meeting the right woman into your life. And that's how you gotta embody meeting those women, right? But you gotta do the work. And that inner work, right? Having your social reps, having influence over yourself, like taking care of yourself as far as your environment, your time, your financials, your social life, your appearance, all of that will build self-authority. And then you'll be able to have that authority and influence with others. That's how it works. But that wasn't the video I wasn't trying to make. Oh yeah, I was going back to why I'm moving to South Korea. There's not really an explanation sometimes, right? Sometimes it's just a vibe, a feeling. I've been there before in April last year. Just to rewind, I was in the military from 2024 up till last December. And and I was in the UK. In the military, I had a deployment. And on my vacation, I decided to go to South Korea. Because the flight only cost me $20, so why the fuck not, right? I spent about 20 days there. I had an amazing time. And it's funny, wherever there's a country that Americans or just North America in general is shitting on, should probably go there. Maybe not North Korea. Hey, China, why not? South Korea, why not? Russia, why not? Who cares, right? Go see it for yourself. Don't rely on an algorithm of people that never set foot in that country. They think they know it all, right? Especially these young kids. They think they know everything now. Because, I mean, they're constantly in social media. If I were them, I would probably do the same, to be honest. But, yeah, just go see it for yourself. It's a much different experience than what you see on social media. I mean, the cost of living, I would say, is similar to a nice city in Canada, but the quality is there. Like, the food there is amazing. You don't get this sort of crash right after eating. And the weather is relatively good. They do have winters there, but it's not as harsh as Canadian weather. And I love Asian women. Dating scene there is great. Women are super friendly, feminine. They're actually, you see that they don't have an agenda. Keep in mind, I was only there 20 days, right? But it just seems more enjoyable to talk to them, right? They show respect. They're not trying to start debate with you. Or almost like, you know, when you talk to a woman and like you just barely met and you can sense that energy of her trying to put herself above you for some reason. Why, right? She's trying to put her frame on you and so that you can fall into hers. And that creates sort of a clash when that doesn't work. And you don't end up making a connection. You just end up, you know, with this psychological war. Your subconscious, you know, fighting against each other. And that sucks, right? I mean, I think we all want connection. But, you know, with feminism with the red pill and all of that. You got men who would rather win debates on masculinity than just winning at being a man themselves. You got women now that are fed with an algorithm that they don't need any man, that they should be independent, that men are useless. And quite frankly, there's a lot of men out there that will cross any single boundaries in their bones just to get laid. And that's why they lose respect from women. And there's a shit ton of those guys, and now it kind of breaks their reputation of men as a whole. And the social media is really not helping that. And now everything seems generalized as a whole, right? All women are cheaters and all of that, and all men are useless and, sucks. But I'm sure we all want connection. And as far as why I moved, I just want to change my environment. Get away from the noise. Start fresh. Sometimes when you want to rebuild your identity and have a new beginning, sometimes changing your environment, not that you're running from yourself. If you're fucked up mentally and you think changing locations will help you with that, you might be surprised after a certain point that you're still going to bring that with you. But if you have a goal and you want to sort of switch up your environment so that your scripts, right? There's studies on this. There was a smoker, or just a smoker in general. If he moves across the world, he's not going to be in the same environment that makes him want to light up a cigarette. Like the habits will sort of change because you're in the different home, right? Different environment, different social circle, different everything, right? And that temptation can fade away because you're sort of living a completely different life. And if you start new habits, well, you'll be much less tempted to get back to your old habits because you're almost like shifting into a different lifeline, into like you're building a different character in a different place. And if you stick to these new habits in that new country, you can become a whole different person. I think that's why a lot of people, when they move to Thailand or something like that, now they're in the best shape of their lives because, the sun is shining everywhere. They sleep well, dating life improves. It's just women in general there are way more feminine. And you're just overall in a better mood because of the sun and less drama. It's more laid back and all of that, right? So I think that's great. So yeah, that's the main reason why I'm moving away. And I'm doing that for a year. I got a working holiday visa. And we'll see how that goes. And I will be documenting this second arc, right? I want to show you how you can rebuild yourself as far as your physique, your presence, your purpose, building a new social circle from scratch, and just becoming the leader of your own life, no matter how old you are, no matter how much you feel behind in life, and that there's nothing you can't do. Like literally anything is possible. And that's what I'm going to show you. And I'm calling this the nonchalant operator philosophy. And I think that's going to be the new movement for masculinity. Yeah. I'm going to leave you with that. Good chatting with you. See you next time.